Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video. And this one is something I featured in my top 50 box sets and reissues of 2023. But this is a standalone review of this set because I hadn't done one at that time. And it is Magical by Greg Lake. So before I give a summary, let's have a look inside the box. So this is Magical by Greg Lake, the Solo Years CD box set. 7 discs in all, with the pictures of the albums on the back cover. If you watch my if you watch my Keith Emerson unboxing, you'll know that Live in Magical is also available in that set. So if you buy this and it's the same label, you end up with that disc twice. But again, not everyone perhaps will buy both sets. But if you're an ELP fan, you probably will. So all the discs are in this fold-out panel here, with the 7th one, the Greg Lake Live at Magical, just kept in separately, which feels a bit kind of like a loose end, but again, I've seen that happen before with other sets like the Free box set, for example, so I'm not really concerned. This makes a difference. Same label, smaller set, but you get a hardback book, whereas with the Keith Emerson set, you get a softback book, and I just feel that this feels more luxurious and feels more the part of recognition and celebration of a musician. Hardback books have a different feel to softback paperbacks, and that's just my personal view on these things. It's really well put together, beautiful paper stock, wonderful photographs, great story and essay which goes into absolute detail. Jerry Ewing again has been involved in this, as he was with the Keith Emerson set. Some beautiful pictures, wonderful memorabilia. The album artwork is there, the lyrics, track by track analysis going through this, which is wonderful, which I would have liked in the Keith Emerson one. I know it was longer, but you know, this is excellent stuff. It's just got a wonderful feel to it, I have to say. This so there's a Keith Emerson one. But because they're celebrating musicians from the same band, there's a different feel in how both designs were executed. And although this is a much smaller set, it has a much more, intimate feel, if that's like. And there's some wonderful family photographs being put together by Greg's widow as well at the back. And they're just wonderful, really beautiful imagery and photographs. They really are. So that is Magical by Greg Lake. So that's Magical by Greg Lake. Very much like the Keith Emerson one, but the hardback book, I think, gives it a higher level of quality than that. Why did Greg Lake get a hardback book and Keith Emerson didn't? It's the same label. Maybe it's because there was more discs in it. Maybe it was a cost thing. I just think that at that price point, anything like this, the hardback book gives it more of a status, it makes it more luxurious. And it just does. Those of us who go to Waterstones in the UK and buy a book, the hardback book has a different feel. A paperback book doesn't. And you could say sometimes the CD feels like a paperback book and the vinyl album is like the hardback. It's different how we perceive things. But I think for something like the £80 to £120 mark, the book should always be hardback. The design mirrors Keith Emerson in some ways, in that you need to get the book out to see what the tracks are on the CDs, because it doesn't state that anywhere, obviously on the discs or on the fold-out card with the discs in. As the track titles on the back, I think, would have made a difference. The book itself, as you've just seen in the unboxing, is fantastic. And the music, now a lot of this music I wasn't that familiar with, because at the time choosing between what I was going to buy and what I didn't buy sometimes meant I missed out on things. What I found really interesting is that in the essay, Greg talks about the fact that he wasn't sure where he was going. The first solo album, he kind of liked, and the second one he felt like he'd done too many kind of ballads and stuff, and he felt that he didn't know where he was heading. And so I think he got quite down after being in ELP. Obviously, I didn't feel any of that. This is an incredible band. Gary Moore is the guitarist on these records. Nuclear Attack, is Gary Moore on fire. And yes, it is interesting to hear Greg Lake sing hard rock. In some cases, almost metallic music. But the first one, Gary Moore, Tommy Earl on keyboards, Tristan Mogritz on bass, Ted McKenna on drums, is just stunning. And to me, I'm so pleased to have it just for that. The next one was called Maneuvers. This also has Gary Moore on it as well. And I liked it just as much. There are some kind of ballads towards the end of the album, but Greg's voice, I just love Greg's voice. It has the similar characteristics to John Wetton to me. And it's interesting, isn't it, that Greg obviously went into Asia for a bit, as did John. So it just works. And then the live stuff from the underground, the official bootlegs, always worries me, that word bootleg, because of what bootlegs can be like. But these aren't like that. They could have been released easily. And I don't know whether they did or not, and they're just calling them that. But to me, and as you saw in the booklet, the text and the background information for the tracks is more extensive, I feel, than the Keith Emerson set, in a way. Songs of a Lifetime is one of the highlights for me, and all these discs, obviously apart from the first two, are really long, because this is obviously Greg's show where it was just him, the storyteller. And my favourite song by Greg Lake is C'est la Vie, from the ELP Works album, and there's a few versions of that in this set, and I don't think I can ever have too many versions. But the Songs of a Lifetime, from 21st Century Schizoid Man right through Trilogy, C'est la Vie, as I've said, Still You Turn Me On, everything is on there. It's just fantastic. And you saw the pictures, and then Greg Lake live is at Piacenza. Again, C'est la Vie's on there as well. And it's just beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, we have that doubling up of the Keith and Greg live album. And then some very kind of personal family photos at the end. But I think this is a marvellous tribute to an absolutely amazing musician. So if you're an Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan, I reckon you've already got it. Or you probably think maybe if you haven't got it, it's because you're dithering. Should I, shouldn't I? I hope this helps, because this is, to me, as you saw with all these albums, and they're very hard to find, and they're packed full of music. It's a journey, and it's something that I'll personally treasure. I really enjoy playing this, and this is something that I shall dip into very, very often. And as I said when I did the Keith Emerson one, I probably appreciate Emerson, Lake and Palmer and their sheer brilliance now. Those three musicians, of which only Carl is still with us, they were absolutely amazing. And this shows just how Greg's Lake, kind of like, there's a parallel between him and John Wetton in some ways. So this and the John Wetton box set are absolutely overflowing with wonderful music. So thank you for watching this, and please subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you want to support me a bit more, you can become a patron. You can cancel it anytime. You'll see all my videos before they go out anywhere else, and it's the same if you become a YouTube member. Or if you want to buy me a coffee at Ko-fi, it makes a difference, and it helps me spend more time doing this as well. And I really, really appreciate it. So take care, keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you all very, very soon.